A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant move that has raised concerns among journalists, the White House has issued a new memorandum restricting access for credentialed journalists to a key area of the press office. This decision, announced on Friday, particularly affects access to Room 140, known as Upper Press, where Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and other top communications officials operate. The National Security Council, NSC, has mandated that journalists can no longer enter this area without a prior appointment, citing the need to protect potentially sensitive material. This change is effective immediately and reflects a broader trend of tightening press access within the federal government. The White House's decision follows similar restrictions implemented earlier this month at the Department of Defense, which led to numerous journalists vacating their offices in protest and returning their credentials. The NSC's memorandum states that the new policy is necessary due to structural changes that require White House communications officials to engage with sensitive materials regularly. As a result, the press is now required to obtain prior approval from an authorized staff member before accessing Room 140. This marks a departure from previous practices where credentialed journalists could access the area on short notice to interact with Leavitt, her deputy Stephen Chung, and other senior officials. The White House Correspondents Association, which represents journalists covering the White House, has yet to comment on this development. This latest restriction adds to the ongoing concerns regarding press freedoms under the current administration. Just months ago, the Trump administration removed major news outlets, including Reuters, the Associated Press, and Bloomberg News, from the permanent pool of reporters covering the president, although they are allowed sporadic participation. The timing of this announcement is particularly notable as it follows the Pentagon's recent crackdown on press access, which has drawn sharp criticism from numerous news organizations. At least 30 outlets have refused to comply with the Pentagon's new policy, which they argue poses a threat to press freedoms and their ability to conduct independent reporting. Under the new Pentagon rules, journalists must acknowledge the revised access protocols, which include potential branding as security risks and the possibility of having their press badges revoked for inquiries that involve classified or certain unclassified information. The implications of these changes are significant, as they could hinder the ability of journalists to perform their duties effectively and independently. In an era where misinformation and a deluge of information coexist, the role of quality journalism is more crucial than ever. The public relies on a free and open press to hold power accountable and to receive accurate information about the workings of their government. As these restrictions take effect, the question remains, how will this impact the relationship between the press and the White House? And what does it mean for the future of press freedoms in the United States? The unfolding situation will undoubtedly be closely monitored by journalists and media organizations alike, as they navigate the evolving landscape of press access and government transparency. The White House's decision to limit access to the press is not just a logistical change. It represents a broader challenge to the principles of transparency and accountability that are foundational to democracy. As the media landscape continues to evolve, the importance of advocating for press freedoms and the rights of journalists becomes increasingly paramount. In light of these developments, there is a growing urgency for journalists to come together and defend their rights to access information and to report freely on matters of public interest. The future of press freedoms hangs in the balance, and it is imperative for all stakeholders to engage in meaningful discussions about the role of the press in a democratic society. The public deserves to know what is happening within their government, and journalists must be empowered to seek the truth without unnecessary barriers. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.